All right, let's try this again. Folks, take two. Very sorry. Let's see if I can fix this. Hopefully this works a little bit better. Now it's working. All right, now I gotta find the video. This could be an epic fail if I can't get this to work. Hopefully it stays connected. I live in the woods. And if this live stream doesn't work, hopefully everybody has patience and I'll try to hook it up on my computer. All right. Can see everybody. I can see comments. Paul, it's working. Yes. What's up, Connie? How old is that tank? This tank is a little over a year old. I set it up I think around last August was when I set it up. And I'm like going through this weird thing now with all my tanks because this tank was looking completely awful, covered with blackbeard algae. I mixed up a concoction of hydrogen peroxide and Flourish Excel, and now the blackbeard is completely gone. It looks amazing. My 40-gallon reef is looking unbelievable, and my 10-gallon reef is looking like absolute shit. So hopefully I can get that 10 really into high gear. I'm really just thinking about buying a new tank, you know, one of those nice little cubes with all the filtration stuffed in the back and starting from scratch on the 10-gallon because just the green hair algae is getting out of control. I haven't really been taking care of it, so I got to take care of it. What's up, Madfish Diva? What fish are in this tank? Right now all I have is cardinal tetras, rummy nose tetras. I have a cool L something or other pleco, a bunch of mystery snails, and I recently just got 5 Siamese algae eaters to battle that blackbeard in case the hydrogen peroxide mix didn't work. But, you know, it worked really well, so I haven't really been needed of them, but I dropped some algae discs in there. Gonna share any insight to the new My Aquarium Box planted box. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. We talked to Peck Tech, love the German Blue Ram steampunk shirt, and we really talked to him if we thought people would be interested in a planted tank box because it could be similar to the freshwater box, but it's gonna be less foods, more you know, driftwood, aquascaping supplies, aquascaping tools, fertilizers, geared more towards taking care of a planted tank and less towards just like your overall tropical tanks. Light. What light am I running on this tank? This is a Marine Land Planted Plus, I think it's called. I think it retails for like $239, right around there. I love it. It's doing great. I love it because it's got a built-in timer, so you don't have to buy a timer, and it's got blues and whites, so you can kind of like a reef tank, you can ramp up the blues like as if the sun's coming up and then blast the whites, and then whites go off, and then blues like a moonlight slows it down a bit. What's the biggest saltwater aquarium you're going to do in your basement? I don't know. I do have that 135 gallon with the 52 gallon sump in my garage, and after Thanksgiving me and Greg are going to move it out. What is that? Oh yeah. After Thanksgiving, me and Greg are going to move it to the basement. Hopefully it fits. I don't want to have to take apart the stand. The tank will go in the basement. The stand might be too big, and I'm not ripping out door frames or any of that crap. So if it fits, it fits. If not, it'll stay in the garage, and I'm going to do a New England native tank with it. I know a lot of people were wanting me to do a reef tank, but I want to do a native New England bass tank. Bass. Maybe start off with some kivers or sunfish and a catfish and just go with it from there. Nice stone, big pieces of driftwood. In the summer I can put you know, duckweed and lily pads and all sorts of stuff, feed it shiners, and go to town. I've been dreaming of doing that for so long, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So a lot of my reef followers will probably be disappointed. If I sound super stuffed up, I am sorry. I'm sick. I've been sick for like a week, and it's just been like a slow climb to shittiness, and today was just awful. I left work at 2. I felt like shit all day. Hey Mike, it was really fun meeting you. And hey Flynn, yeah, it was fun. Were you with the Aquarium Co-op shirt with the camera, interviewed the 3 of us? It was really nice to meet you. Melbourne, Australia. What's up? I have no idea to soak it or clean it, but I do. You know, unless you know exactly what kind of driftwood, searching for driftwood in your local area can be problematic for the tank, especially if it's in water. If you can find nice dry pieces outside the water and then boil them, power wash them, and then add it to a brand new tank, I rarely like to go fishing around for driftwood and add it to an existing tank. I feel like it's inviting a whole lot of problems. You have a deviated septum. I do not. First time with CO2 advice. Yeah, go pressurized CO2 is really awesome. Let's see if I can get more of the tank and less of my doorway here. There we go. I love pressurized CO2. It's super easy. Do not be intimidated by it. I have a video on how to set it up, and I talked to a bunch of people through Facebook and stuff on advice, but it really is super easy. One word of advice I will give you: lock it up. One time in my old house, I went downstairs, brought my 2-year-old daughter down at the time to do laundry. I literally turned around for 2 seconds and she cranked the needle valve all the way up, full blast. I didn't know it. Next morning I come downstairs, the entire 5-pound tank was empty. Just about the bubble counter was flying through the roof and gassed out 75% of my fish. I don't know if you guys remember my 75-gallon tank. In the old house, the one I used to sit on the floor when I first started YouTube, it had tons and tons of different varieties of rainbow fish, angels. It was really one of my most favorite planted tanks. She gassed out and killed 75% of those fish. So lock up that CO2, especially if you have kids, and maybe put it in like a bungee cord with like a milk crate, because if it ends up leaking, you know, it can fire all over the place. I've never seen it happen, but I have heard of it happening. Shizdank, what up? I was just talking about you, son. Shizdank, good to see you, man. You got to post more videos because I love all your pictures. Shizdank Tanks has some of the most beautiful tanks I have ever seen. If you follow him on Facebook, Instagram, or just go check out some of his old YouTube videos. He is a master, and he's a cool ass dude. I've never met him in person, but I have talked to him plenty of times. Just his tanks are so beautiful, and he keeps really, as far as I can see, really rare fish. I can't find any of the fish he has. He does everything right with quarantining and growing his plants from scratch, so he doesn't introduce any type of blackbeard algae or anything like that. Go check out Shizdank Tanks. After this video is over, if I have a chance to go edit it, I'll post a link in the description for his channel. It is awesome. I was told never to scroll back up to comments, but how do I even know who's here? And how do I even scroll up? Jeez, what is this? Anyway, Slim Tim's in the house. Do you need a circulation pump for a 10-gallon saltwater? I think a hang-on back filter does enough surface agitation, but I like to have some flow. So I have a High Door Nano, the smallest one they make, for my 10-gallon tank. I hope that didn't just pop up on live, because I have it on airplane mode, but who knows. Fire it up. Do you keep shrimp? I used to have some Amano shrimp in this tank, and they have completely disappeared. Maybe about a couple months ago, they just either died or I don't know what happened to them, but I lost them. Can you have a Watchman goby in a 10-gallon tank? Yeah, that's a good size fish for a 10-gallon. They stay tiny. I've had my green spotted Watchman goby is about 2.5, 3 inches. was my very first fish I got for the 40 reef, and it's old now. Madfish Diva sub. Sup Slim. Have you ever used a Sun canister filter? No, I have never used a Sun. I've always used Fluval. I've never had any problems. I've heard, even at the Aquatic Experience, I was talking to a bunch of people, and I heard them talking about their Fluvals always leaking. I've had Fluval 406s. I've had 3 of them, and I've never, ever, ever had them leak. I've never had a problem with them. I did sell the whole 75-gallon setup, and as soon as my buddy Shad bought it, like instantly his filter was leaking. So I don't know, maybe I'm just lucky, I guess. I wish Exquisite Corals in the... Oh man, you know what? I wish they were in business too. I started getting all my corals from Exquisite Corals, and I think something happened where someone coppered all his tanks. I don't know. The owner was super nice dude, and I think he lost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars when that happened. So that really sucked, and I wish they were around too. Hillstream loaches. I have never kept Hillstream loaches. I think they're cold water. I'm not sure. Someone else can comment on that. What's the bushy plant towards the middle? This nice bush right here is one of the biggest blixas I have ever seen. They usually come like really, really tiny, maybe like less than a fist size. You'll buy them, like even the size of like a quarter. And when you plant them, they grow really nice. They propagate well because they'll produce like a little tree trunk with another one, and you can just pick that off and replant it. But this blixa friggin' took off, and all that's in this tank is CO2 and root tabs. We make root tabs, my Aquarium Box root tabs. You can go to our website and buy packages of 10, 20 big bags, and they work awesome. Especially with inert substrate. Like this sand doesn't have any nutrients. If you just put plants in sand and they're heavy root feeders, they're not going to grow. You need some sort of supplement for the roots. Getting holes in my Amazon swords. All my other plants are cool. Any ideas? I think holes are a potassium deficiency, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it is Blixa. Should I get a Marineland filter for my 10-gallon? I like Marineland filters as well. They're sponsoring our Mega Box, and I've heard a lot of people that we get their canister filters are running really good, so Marinelands are good. My favorite coral. What's Shizdank? Everyone I know with Sun, keep them in buckets. Yeah. My favorite coral. Weird. Tech, one of my boys, Sean, told me to write down 3 questions in case the live stream goes stale, because I don't do live streams all that often. In fact, this is only my second one. I did one with my boy Michael from the UK, Aaron's Aquarium. Go check him out. And it went well, so this is my second one. My favorite coral, believe it or not, is GSP. Green Star Polyps. They're one of the most, beginner corals. They're easy to keep. They spread like crazy. You basically cannot kill them. And they're just beautiful. Maybe because I started off with planted tanks. And, when you first get into the hobby and you see all these beautiful high-tech planted tanks with carpets, maybe the GSP just reminds me of carpets. At night, it's just purple, right? It looks like a purple slime just growing over everything. Not like cyano. It's got like a nice light purple. And then when the lights kick on, all the polyps open up, and it's just like flowing tiny little grass. I've always wanted to have an entire reef tank with bare bottom, but place a bunch of GSP frags around the bottom and let the whole bottom go GSP, so it's almost just like a grass bottom. I will do that one day, for sure. Gotta get ready for my big contest giveaway. Rob, do it. Yep. This is a German blue ram, steampunked out. Tech made these shirts. I love it. It's awesome. He gave me this at the Aquatic Experience when I met him. I know he gave a bunch out, but I think you can buy them on his channel. Go check out some of the links in his descriptions. Maybe you can buy them. Is carbon okay to use in my filter? I have live plants. Will it hurt them? I use ChemiPure Green, which is a new product by ChemiPure. I have ChemiPure Green Carbon. It's carbon for the planted tank. I have the ChemiPure Green Carbon in my filter right now. Black hair algae is friggin' gone. And there's not even like tiny bits around. It's just like wiped out. I took a hydrogen peroxide bottle, 3%, half of it filled with the hydrogen peroxide. I dumped half out, and then I filled the rest with Seachem Flourish Excel, shook it up, and I sprayed everything, and the next day it turned purple like it's supposed to. The next day it was all white and gray. The day after that, day 3, day 4, completely gone. Like, my Anubias was covered. Like, everything was covered in it. Black-beard algae is a nightmare, and now it's completely gone. What do you think of the FX6? I've never owned an FX6. My favorite saltwater fish is my coral hopping hawkfish. Now, they have long-nosed hawkfishes, which are, I believe, like reef careful. Like, they may be reef safe, they may not be reef safe, but the coral hopping hawkfish is reef safe. It's white and red and yellow like tiger, like a leopard, and it's got these spikes all along its whole dorsal like a mohawk, and they're pronged, so like almost like it looks like if you touched them like they'd be poisonous, but I don't think they're poisonous. But he's like a little dog. You go down to any tank, and most fish, like, you go like this and they're gonna scatter away, or like they sense movement and they swim away. But the hawkfish is like a little dog. It sees you coming and it swims up to the front of the tank, jumps on a rock with its 2 little pectoral fins, boot, hops on a rock, and just like looks at you, then swims to another rock, then swims to another rock, and just checks you out the whole time. They're a really, really personable fish, and they're definitely my favorite saltwater fish. Give us a close-up of your t-shirt. How close you want to get? How's that? German Blue Ram. Steampunked. Thanks you, Peck Tech. How can I grow more coralline without dosing anything? If you can get some coralline from somebody else's tank, if they can scrape it off for you, put it in a bag, and like grind it all up in your tank, that should do it. Coralline's not all it's cracked up to be. My 10-gallon tank is completely covered in it, and it looks cool, but you're never gonna get that off. You gotta shut down the tank and razor blade it off. And you probably can never use that tank again if you decide to take it down. It's a bitch to get off. My 40-gallon does not have any coralline in it, like maybe a spot or two, and I don't know why. I'm pretty sure that the amount of corals I have consume all the calcium and magnesium, consume everything up, so there's nothing left for coralline to consume to grow. It's very pretty purple color, but some people don't like it. I'm 50-50 on it. I like the way it looks on my 10, but I'm glad that my 40 is not covered in it at all. Do you do any regular dosing for your planted tanks? I do not dose this planted tank at all. There's so many definitions for like high tech, low tech. Excuse me, my voice is like really getting hoarse. High tech tank. So that's high light, CO2, pressurized CO2, dry ferts, demanding plants, crazy spectrums on your LEDs. And then your low tech tank is probably just T8s or T5 bulbs, easy plants with some good substrate maybe. But my tank, I guess I've always said this, I get made fun of all the time for it. I used to in my old videos. I'm like medium tech because I do run pressurized CO2, but I don't dose any dry ferts. I don't dose any liquid ferts. Excuse me. All I do dose is Osmocote plus root tabs. And I have sand substrate and I have fluorite in the back, which is almost starting to run out of nutrients because I've noticed my plants aren't growing as well, so I'm going to stuff some root tabs in there. But that's it. My lights, I guess you could say, are considered high lighting. They're really, really bright. I don't know what the power is. I am not an expert on any of that crap. You can go talk to Shizdank Tanks. And even better, ADU Aquascaping. He knows, he's like Bill Nye the Science Guy. He'll know all that stuff. Go check out his channel. He'll tell you exactly what everything is. I never go by like, oh, what par are you running, or what this, or what that. I'm running a light, and I have water, and I have CO2, and it takes a while for your tanks to balance out. And by balance out, I mean you're going to go through a ton of changes. They're going to grow, they're going to melt, they're going to do this. But after everything settles in and you dial in your CO2 and your lighting schedule, you know, the tank pretty much runs itself after that. I barely do any water changes on this tank. I do need to clean out my filter. It's important to get that detritus, however you want to say it, out of your filter. So definitely clean your filters. I need to do that. How long should I let my saltwater tank cycle for if I have 10 pounds of rock? Oh, I just missed that comment. You gotta let it cycle until the test results show that you're leveled off. I recommend just dosing Dr. Tim's one and only nitrifying bacteria right away. Add fish, dose Dr. Tim's again maybe a week later, and you're just like, it's instant cycle. The fish creating ammonia, the nitrifying bacteria are eating that ammonia, and you can be cycled like very, very quick. Don't buy expensive fish just in case. You know, buy something inexpensive. I know that sounds like you're torturing a fish, but Michael Ahrens over at Ahrens Aquariums swears by just starting the tank up, dosing ATM colony or whatever he does, and boom, right away. Fish, good, tank's good to go. What type of fishes are also, turn it up? Tim, I can never tell. Are you asking me to turn it up because you can't hear it, or turn it up like fired up? Is the volume good? What type of fishes are also best for 10-gallon? A 10-gallon saltwater tank, like a pair of clownfish, one clownfish, maybe a 6-line wrasse, a shrimp, a goby shrimp pair. You know, you're limited to what kind of fish you can put in a 10-gallon. Some people even say like a clownfish pair is torture, but my clowns are happy. Well, one of them was happy. One of them jumped ship after almost 3 years and never lost a fish. Gone. Slashmaster, what's up, buddy? Haven't heard from you in a long time. Tank looks great, thank you. What do I think of a 55-gallon for cichlids? Yeah, go for it. I had this exact 40 breeder. My 40 reef downstairs was an African cichlid tank. Super simple to do. Friggin' sand, rock, cichlids, done. 55 will be good. What's my opinion on emerald crabs? Nobody likes crabs, folks. No, just kidding. I don't know. I've had them before. The problem is they get in and they do their work. They eat all the bubble algae. They eat green hair algae. Then your tank's gone, and then you have to supplement feeding them. My experience with them is once they've rid your tank of whatever you need them to rid to, it's very tough to get them to survive after that. I do not have good luck with green emerald crabs once there's nothing for them to eat. Even if I supplement nori or algae wafers or whatever, for some reason, after the tank is wiped clean of bubble or green hair algae or whatever, then they usually die. Sometimes once it's done, I've even taken them back to my LFS. Glad you got the BBA taken care of and didn't nuke the tank. I love the look of that tank. Thanks, Nick. I'm glad I did not nuke the tank either, because I was seriously like, every time I walked by the tank, I was like disgusted. I was like, I can't believe that it's this bad. And I just want to literally drain the tank and huck it off a cliff and start from scratch. Like, I don't want to bleach the tank. I don't want to do anything. I want to burn the tank and get a brand new tank and do the shizdank way and grow my plants from seed or from scrap, from culture, however he does it, and never ever worry about it again. But so far so good. Like, it really looks great. If you can get in live in this tank without the Blackbeard, like, it's just luscious and green. The moss is growing way back here. The Anubias, the Boos, the Dwarf Sage, the Crip, Cypress, Blixa, like, everything looks awesome. I used to have that big giant piece of manzanita going through here, covered in algae. I just took friggin' loppers, went down in there, cranked it off because I wasn't dealing with it anymore. So I started with the driftwood, then all that. Do you post this on YouTube? Because I'm just got here to the stream. Yeah. So the way live streams work is after the live stream is done, it'll post it up to YouTube. So that first 2-minute one that completely sucked, I think what happened is my computer was taken away from the live stream, so I logged off Mass Aquariums on my computer. That's why I can't scroll back through the comments. Or I'm computer idiot. I'm a complete retard when it comes to computers. So excuse my language. Sorry for that. Philippines, what's up? What's my favorite tetra? Rummy nose tetra all day long. What's up, fish out of water? Your work up busy, did not have time. Slash master, yes. Do emerald crabs eat coralline? I've never seen emerald crabs eat coralline. How many guppies in a 30 gallon? I would start with a female and a male, and then you'll have 100 in about a month. And can you get angelfish? I started off angelfish in a 29 gallon. They get really, really big. Like, I think a 55 gallon would probably be the minimum you want to go for angelfish. Like, I'm talking as big as your hand, and they just get huge. Same with discus. They're just giant fish. Immerse for cuttings. I don't grow from seed. Yep. I forget what you said, Shizdank. Yeah, I do have clownfish in both my reef tanks. The lighting for this tank is 4:30 in the afternoon, the blues come on. 5 o'clock, the whites come on. At 11 o'clock, the whites go off, and 11:30, the blues go off. So whatever, 4:30 to 11:30, whatever that is. 6, 7, like roughly 7, 8 hours, right around there. What kind of root tabs do I use? My Aquarium Box root tabs. Go to shop.myaquariumbox.com and we sell root tabs super, super cheap. You don't have to make them yourself. You don't have to buy gel clamps. You don't have to buy Osmocote. And this is what I am using in this tank. My Aquarium Box root tabs. Go check them out. Shameless plug. Do I use a protein skimmer? No, I've never used a protein skimmer. I'm not saying that protein skimmers, like, you shouldn't use a protein skimmer. Like, go use a protein skimmer if you want to buy one. They're really good for big tanks because they do really, really good work and you don't have to do as many water changes. I just prefer to keep my setups as simple as possible with the least amount of equipment as possible. It's the way I've always done things. It's the way my dad taught me, but they probably, you know, when I was 8, friggin' 30 years ago, they didn't have a whole bunch of crap like that, probably. But I'm not saying don't use a protein skimmer. If you can afford a protein skimmer, then, yeah, go get one, put it on your tank. If you want to take care of it, you want to clean out the cup, you want to do all that, you want to get it dialed in, go for it. If you can afford good equipment, do it. I literally choose to run all my tanks as basic as I possibly can. There's absolutely no reasoning behind it, with the exception that I just don't want to have to take care of too much stuff. At one point I had like 12 or 13 tanks and it just became a nightmare. It was just labor. Like, I didn't like any tanks. I didn't get a chance to, like, enjoy my tanks. I was just constantly doing water changes and cleaning filters and changing sponges out. Like, it sucked. So yeah, get a protein skimmer if you want. I try to keep all my tanks as basic as possible. You don't need a protein skimmer. You just replace what the protein skimmer does by doing a water change every week, which I'm completely fine with doing one water change every 7 to 10 days in my 40. I do a water change like once a month in this guy and once a month in my 10. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you. Oh, what was the name of the green flake fruit from Rhode Island? I like that food. That is, it's made by Adcore. It's dehydrated. It's from a kelp farm. We have that also at myaquariumbox.com, shop.myaquariumbox.com. We sell Adcore food that is like literally farm fresh, right down the road, all organic, spirulina. It's awesome. Oh yeah, I'm from Massachusetts. Celtics kicked ass last night. Can you believe that? What do I suggest to have in a 20-gallon saltwater tank? Clowns, gobies, shrimp, some 6-line wrasse is good. Little fish, tiny fish are good for a 20-gallon. Pair of clowns, a shrimp, maybe a goby, and your cleanup crew. What do you use to grow your plants like this? I use flowers. No, I use no chemicals anymore. Root tabs only. What's a good way to get nitrates down other than doing water changes? I use polyfilter pads in my hang-on back filters, and that reduces nitrates really well. Other than that, you know, a protein skimmer is good for a 75-gallon tank. If you have a sump, just stick it in the sump. If you're running a canister filter, you're trapping nitrates if it's filled with sponges and everything. If you run a canister filter on a saltwater tank, I suggest just having rubble, just having rock in there and cleaning it out as often as possible. Just got Java moss last night and it turned yellow. It's probably melting back a little. Can you keep a mandarin with a pair of clownfish? A mandarin is literally one of the toughest fish to keep. Unless the local fish store has trained that fish to eat frozen or pellets, which can be done. I've watched quite a few videos on it. You can never have enough copepods, amphipods in a tank. It'll just wipe them out completely. Unless you have a refugium where you're growing them by the thousands, or like Mike has a big ass sump with a refugium that are just constant copepods spawning. And other than that, like mandarin fish, I would just stay away from them completely. They're gorgeous. They're probably my favorite saltwater fish to look at because of the coloration on them, but I've bought and lost 5, I think. The longest I had one was 6 months, and I was doing a water change, and he jumped out, didn't see him. Next morning, mandarin chip. I was super, super pissed because he was starting to eat frozen. I was supplementing with copepods. I was buying them all the time, but I was feeding frozen that I saw him eat. But I would, a mandarin fish is, it's not, it's a hardy fish, but you need to feed it, and that's the hard part. So I would stay away from it until you can figure out a way to constantly add copepods to your tank. And your tank has to be established as well. Can you get ammonia from tap water? Yes, your tap water can contain ammonia. Flow wagon, I'm not ignoring anybody's questions. I can't friggin' scroll back. So if I didn't see your question, you can always join the super chat. Super chat is enabled, and I'll be able to see it. It'll be in bright, and then I'll see it real quick. So go hit up that super chat. Throw some loot down, sponsor my channel. Any type of money that I get from AdSense or Patreon or Super Chat, it goes to my channel. I don't use the money for anything besides I just got a microphone for my cell phone. Like I'm high tech now, baby. Or it goes into my tanks. A new fish to talk about, something for YouTube. I don't use that money for anything besides going back into the channel. What corals do you... Oh, wait, Floxwagon. I'm trying to set up a peacock tank on the cheap. I have aragonite that will saltwater tank. Can I rinse it? Just go get new stuff. I don't like to recycle stuff from other tanks if I can. Boil it, I guess, is the best thing to do. What corals? Rico, my man! Goldie, what's up? I could call him Goldtooth. He calls me Grumpy Mike. I call him Goldtooth. I had a blast with him at Aquatic Experience. It's really nice to see him with his wife and all his kids running around. Like, I'm a family guy. I got 4 kids, so I like the fact that he brought his kids. And he's a super personable guy. He introduced us to a lot of contacts. It was the first time I met him. I've seen him a few times on CJ's Google Hangouts. My shoulder's friggin' killing me. But it was great to meet him in person, and he did a lot of great stuff for us at the Aquatic Experience. He's a moderator. That's why he's got a wrench. Thanks, Jay Cruz. Have you tried lava rock as filter? Yeah, I have put lava rock in my canister filters. It's really porous. All this is all lava rock right here. I don't know if you can see. Maybe I'll get a close-up later. My pleco's out. I have one clown and one lawnmower Bleenie in my 10-gallon who does not eat algae. He's a bitch. He's supposed to eat my algae. He doesn't. He sucks. David's fish tank, what's up? Would 2 Finnex stingrays on a 20 long be too much? Yes, a 20 long, you need 1 light. This is a 40 breeder. I have 1 light, and even this is like, it's raised up on beer mugs because it's just way too intense. Oh no, Flow Wagon, no problem, buddy. I'm trying to answer questions and get to everybody's stuff. So if you post a question and I don't answer it, it's because I didn't see it. Go question under the super chat. It'll show up in bright, and my eyes will go right to it. Thanks, David. Easy to grow plants. If you have, can you buy plants online? Because there's Hans Aquatics. He lives in Massachusetts. He's a great guy. I saw him at Aquatic Experience. I get a lot of my plants from him. I met Justin from H2O Plants at the Aquatic Experience. You can go to h2oplants.com, hanaquatics.com. Grab some plants from those guys. They'll take care of you. If you go buy plants from those guys, tell them Mass Aquariums in a note sent you, and they'll take care of you. One stingray. That's good. I would love stingrays. Best 29-gallon planted tank fish. Tetras. A lot of people do tetras like cory cats, platies, guppies, any type of tropical community fish. 29-gallon tank, like a nice school of Rasboras. Rasboras are beautiful fish. Cardinal tetras are beautiful. Cardinal tetras are not neon tetras, in case you're wondering. Rummy nose tetras are really beautiful. I love rummy nose. It's my favorite tetra. Like some rams, German blue rams, don't even bother. Super tough, super finicky. No matter how beautiful they are, they always die for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe I just suck at keeping blue rams, but I gave up on blue rams. Bolivian rams and golden rams are really, really pretty. They make good pairs. They're great for a 29. Any dwarf cichlid, like South American dwarf cichlids, great for 29-gallon tanks. Central air pump or individual air pumps in a fish room with 30+ tanks? Oh, central all day. Gotta go central. If you have tons and tons of tanks, go watch Greg Jones online. This is not a shameless plug. Greg is my business partner, and he's become a good friend of mine. He is one of the most patient people I know because he puts up with me, and this is where I got the nickname Angry Mike. Like, I'm always angry when he comes over because he's just business, and I'm like, I got my full-time job, I got my kids, a dog, a house to take care of, like practices, I'm running around, then Uncle Greg comes over, and I'm just like, what the fuck, Greg? Like, I'm always pissed off at him, and he's just doing his job. I'm sorry, Greg. Thanks for putting up with me. Anyway, go to Greg's channel. He has self-automated his entire fish room. He never has to do water changes. He's got everything running on a drip system, so I would go big air room. Go check out a bunch of his videos if you have a fish room with 30 tanks. Any low-light non-green plants other than crypts? Yeah, tons of low-light plants. Dwarf sage, anubias, java fern, blixa, jungle val. There's tons and tons of low-light plants you can get out there. I have 2 videos on 5 different plants in each video that are all low-light plants. Thank you, Dope Reviews. Appreciate the support. Yeah, the light is super bright. It does not look this bright off camera. Like, it looks really cool just when you're walking by, but it is very bright. You're right. Betas. Was thinking to blanch cube, blah, 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 later, beta. Would that be okay? I have no one to feed them? No, just don't even feed them. If you're going away somewhere and you have nobody to take care of your fish, don't dump food in there. And hopefully they nibble on it for the next week. All that food's going to do is rot, create way too much ammonia and waste in your tank, and could poison your fish. Your fish will be fine for a week. like 3 to 7 days. If you don't feed them, they'll be fine. What I did when I went to the aquatic experience is I got those little medicine containers, you know, Sunday, Monday, the days of the week, and I put the fish food in each one of those, and I just told my 9-year-old and my 7-year-old, 7-year-old on this tank, my 9-year-old took care of the reefs, said every morning or night, go downstairs, open one up, dump it in. Just one. If you miss a day, don't worry about it. Just one a day. And I came back, tanks were awesome. 9-year-old and 7-year-old took care of my tanks. There has to be someone you can ask to do that. 58 watching. All right. Hope I'm not boring everybody. Small fish for a heavily planted tank. Any type of tetra, cory cats. Tetras are great. Non-green, haha, mass aquarium. You're the shit, bro. Thanks, Kev. Hello, all. I'm late, Mass. Love your show and advice. New to the chat in the fish world. Hello, Patricia. Nice to have you on. Donald, you're welcome. Colin, how often do you feed your fish? Once a day, a very small amount. Anything that they can consume in like a minute or two. And basically, it's just a pinch of flake, you know, sprinkle it in the tank, done. They're not going to starve. Fish will eat pretty much every time you put food in the tank, but it's going to go to the bottom and it's going to start to rot. Like, a lot of misconception is that like cories will go eat rotted food. No, they eat the fresh food. There's really no fish that's going to go eat crappy rotten food, like off the bottom of the tank. A lot of snails will do that, and shrimp are good for eating that food that goes to the bottom. But most times, if the food hits the bottom of the tank, that's it. It's done. And then it's going to sit there and waste. So just feed a tiny bit once a day. Would a 24/7 planted be too much for a 20 long? I think you can get away with it, especially if it comes with a suspension kit and you can raise it up. That'll be perfect. How long does a panchow tropical fish usually live for? If I'm even pronouncing that right, I have no experience with those fish at all. I don't even know what that fish is. While I have kept fish for 30 years, there are some fish that I've never heard of and I have no experience with, so I really can't comment. If anybody else knows about that fish, go ahead and comment. Ideas for stocking a 29 planted? Yeah, cories, any South American dwarf cichlid, tetras, tropical fish, platies, guppies. What is the large grass knoll in your tank? This is a Belixa. Big, giant Belixa. A beta sorority. Excuse me. If you haven't heard, I'm sick. I'm stuffed up. It's been an awful week. I probably won't do a beta sorority. Whatever that is. I'm guessing it's lots of betas. Little tiny tanks. Will not do that. What's the best bottom cleaning fish for sand substrate? Cories are awesome for sand. They like sand. They got their little whiskers, and sand is best for them because they like to like rummage through and stuff. Once again, there's really, actually Siamese algae eaters will go. They like to go through the sand. Shrimp, snails, mystery snails, they'll just roll all over the sand all day long. What size filter would you have on a 29 gallon? I have both AquaClear 70 and 50. Not sure. I use my 29. AquaClear 70. Or like a canister filter, like a Fluval 206 is good, or 205, whatever it is, 305. Don't go too much, but on my 29 gallon, I ran an AquaClear 70. I run an AquaClear 70 on my 40 downstairs. AquaClear 70 is my go-to filter. You can buy different impellers to lower the flow, but I like the size of the filter. I can pack a bunch of stuff in the box itself. I run a 50 on my 10 gallon, but the AquaClear 70 is by far one of my favorite filters ever. Bloodworms. Do bloodworms like once a week. IFG in the house. What's up, my brother? I see you. I like melon swords. Those are pretty. My go-to for flow with planted tanks is basically like a reef almost. Like, if you can get that like just gentle sway so that there's no, that stuff's not settling on your plants, that's good. I mean, you don't want your plants blowing around, but If you can set up a circulation pump with your filters, I had this set up perfect in my 75 gallon where just the plants just like kind of sway back and forth. That's perfect flow for your planted tank. Gregory, hello. Hello, Greg. So glad you can make it. I just kissed your butt like 10 minutes ago for putting up with my grumpiness. What media? My shoulder is completely a mess today. What media do you stock your AquaClear 70 with? In my reef tank, I stock the sponge that it comes with, followed by ChemiPure Blue, followed by a mesh bag filled with GFO, followed by a poly filter pad on top. And that's in that order in my AquaClear. I have a 20 long planted with a Finnick Stingray and it's doing great. Wisteria, Java, Bacopa, Crips. Yep. All great plants. Wisteria is a great floating plant. I used to just like stick big giant piles of it in my 75 and it just float around. Water Sprite, Wisteria, those are good nitrate busters. They'll still soak up nitrates like crazy. All right, the chat. I've got a question for you guys following this live stream. Thanks to Sean Pecktech, told me to write down a couple questions in case the chat dries up. Just added Blue Hygro. That's cool. I never heard of that one. Now, if you're a YouTuber, Carib Sea Island Gold, right here, substrate. Dive into high tech tanks, go for it. Middle piece for a 30 gallon, big piece of driftwood. Shop.myaquariumbox.com. Huge driftwood packages. Free shipping, awesome. Yep, floating plants. Best nitrate hogs. You got it. So the demonetization of YouTube videos lately is absolutely been pissing me off. Now, I monetize my videos and I use that Google AdSense revenue to put back into the channel. So what's been happening is right around 600 views, they demonetize it for a review. But they will not review it until it hits 1,000 views. And by the time they remonetize it, it usually gets back to like 1,400. So basically like 800 to 1,000 views, you've missed that AdSense revenue because they're fiddling around with whatever they need to view. It pisses me off because, you know, I don't need the money to pay bills, but I use the money to put back into the fish tanks to make videos. Now, so I have a question for you folks that do have YouTube channels. If YouTube demonetized everybody's videos and you weren't allowed to get Google AdSense revenue, would you continue to pump out as many videos as you do if you do a lot of videos, like scheduled videos? Would you continue to keep making videos if you weren't making any money off this? And I'm not talking if you have like 50 subscribers and, you know, you're not getting a lot of views, but, you know, if you are getting lots of views and putting good content out, good informational how-tos, and Google stopped having AdSense altogether, would you continue to make money? I'm curious. Make videos, sorry. Would you continue to make videos for your audience if there was nothing in it for you besides getting in front of a camera and spreading the aquarium knowledge love? I would, because when I started YouTube, it's because my wife worked nights, my kids would go to bed, and I would be bored. I need something to do, and so I figured I'd share some knowledge on YouTube, do ball busting, all sorts of fun things. So I would continue to make videos. Be honest, if you were not getting any AdSense revenue ever, would you make YouTube videos still? IFG would. CJ's Aquariums, what's up, my brother? Pound it. CJ would only do it a little. Rico would, good. Thank you, Kevin. Yep, Shizdank, you haven't been on YouTube forever, but I still go back and watch your tanks because they're friggin' gorgeous. Which is better, hang on back, canister filter, I mean, I like both hang on back and canisters. They do different jobs. This 40-gallon has a canister. My 40-gallon downstairs has a hang-on back. I like them both, and you can, you know, it all depends on your setup. Like if you have a nice like cabinet and stuff, you know, where you can stuff the canister down underneath, do it. Hang-on backs are just easy. They're right there. When you're doing a water change, you can take everything out real quick, clean it, boom, 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 job done. Canisters are kind of a pain in the ass. You gotta take off the hose and drag it over to the sink and do this and blah, 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 but I like them both. 59. Let's get to 60 people watching. I think we had 61. Oh, 57, just like that. Do I ride a motorcycle? No, I do not. I have 4 kids, and I don't want to die, even though motorcycles are badass and super cool. They're very dangerous, and I want to live a long time. And you can't drink and drive anyway, but motorcycles especially dangerous. Thank you, Kevin. What would be the best way to add sand to a tank that has already started? I think I saw this question on one of my YouTube videos. I have gravel in there, and I would like to fill it in with sand. If you have a 10-gallon tank that you can scoop all your fish out and put them in there, drain your tank down to basically nothing, get the sand in there, fill it back up, let the filter run and clear out all that for, you know, put some filter floss in there. That'll really help clear up the tank. And then put your fish back in. Other than that, it's really tough to change out substrates and keep everything the way it is. It is not an easy task. I want to go crack open a cold one with the boys right now. Do it, Tony. How much to switch from low-tech to high-tech for all the gear? What kind of gear do I need? CO2 for sure. That's going to run you $400 at minimum for a good setup. A light also is going to be $200 to $300. So what's that? Let's call it $600. Then if you're buying dry fertilizer, you know, that's probably fairly cheap. You can go root tabs, but you know, I'd say, you know, you're gonna have to drop $600 to $800 to turn any tank into a high-tech tank. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Michael. I call him Aaron now to piss him off. CJ, yeah, it's in my garage still. After Thanksgiving, me and Greg are gonna move it to the basement, and I'm not doing a reef tank with it. I've emailed them a bunch of times to make sure it's okay. I haven't got any replies. I'm gonna do a native New England freshwater tank. Just thinking about setting it up as a reef and the expense to buy corals and make salt water and all that is just like, it's just messing with my head. I haven't decided 100% if it's going to be a native tank or a reef tank, but I'm leaning towards the native tank. The best way to improve the health of Malawi cichlids, IFG, can you answer that, please? Just, I mean, the best way to improve the health of any cichlid is, any fish, is clean water, a good diet. I mean, that's really it. Excuse me. Feed the fish good, do your water changes, and your fish should be healthy. I like LED. Yep, 115. You can get one. Paintball tank, exactly. See you, Kev. Montreal, what's up? I was just up there. I went to Niagara a few weeks back. Cheers, Huss. CJ, it's not the size of the tank that's intimidating to me. I don't mind setting up a giant tank. It's the cost of filling it with corals. Like, I know I can frag corals or, you know, change them out. I know Jordan Watkins, J Dubs, runs Fragriculture on Facebook. He would probably hook me up with like a mess of corals for a good price. But I just have so much stuff to do. Like, just taking care of a giant reef, like, is easy once it's settled in. But like the whole process to get there, like the amount of months, if not years, it takes to where you're dialed in is just like, I do not have the patience for that again. My 40 is looking great. It's running good. My 10 could use a little work, but that's just my fault. I suppose if I could combine the 10 and the 40 into just that one reef tank, so I'll have one big reef tank in this tank, would be good, but I don't know. I'm still debating on what to do. Yes, hit that share. Bigger is better, IFG. Yeah, I haven't seen IFG's live stream. I don't know if Jay Wilson's live streaming now. I know he commented that he wanted me to go over his live stream. He's a great guy, so if he's live streaming right now, go check him out too. Do pop up 2 windows at the same time. Jay Wilson, Mass Aquariums, double live stream action. You really want to know what I can put as a middle piece fish in my 30 gallon. Also, please inform me how many dwarf cichlids I would be proper in a 30. I can't really tell you what to do with your tank, like how many fish. If you have good filtration, you know, put as many fish as you want, can get away with in there. A middle fish is like rummy nose and rasboras, like usually just hang out in the middle of the fish, in the middle of the tank. Cory cats are bottom, you know. Bosemani, turquoise or Bosemani rainbow fish, they're praycock rainbow fish. They're a good like medium fish, like middle of the water column fish. So any type of tetra is pretty much like your whole like you see these fish, they're just going back to the minute, here and back and forth. When they go up to the top, it's only because there's food. They barely ever go down bottom. So tetras, cardinal tetras, rummy nose tetras, rasboras, any type of tetra you like is great for the middle of the tank. No more confidential informant lighting, no sir. Yes, Jeffrey, I'd love to say to all the YouTubers out there that are helping people keep better fish and making good videos, thank you to all of them as well. We're in a community. Adventures in Aquariums. I am a sexy masshole. Thank you very much. I don't know why you can't hear me. Everybody else seems to be hearing me. I got a new microphone. I hope it's working. Somebody else comment if you can hear me or not. 10 autocinculus and I have no algae. So far they won't eat anything I give them except green beans. So keep feeding them green beans. Autocats eat brown diatom algae. So unless you have a tank full of diatoms, you know, cucumbers, green beans, and if they're eating green beans, then keep feeding them green beans. Which soil is best? Don't see the root tabs on the website. Don't do the W, just shop.myaquariumbox.com. There are root tabs in there, I promise you. Yes, I sound very manly, thank you, because I am a man who is manly. Cheers, Shizdank. I know you like the Bud Light, especially one with the Patriot symbol on it. Believe it or not, folks, this is my first beer in a few days because I've been sick and it sucks. Go Pats. Good soil. I've been using fluorite. I know the ADA soil is like supposed to be top of the line. In my 75, I literally had organic soil from Lowe's or Home Depot, and I capped it with black gravel. So it was just organic soil. Your tank will be dirty for a little while, but eventually it clears up and everything settles down. But when you do maintenance with those plants, you're gonna stir up stuff. Yeah, I trim my plants all the time. Anytime I'm doing a water change, I get basically daily. If I see something rotting away or whatever, I get in there, I pluck it out. When I do water changes, a lot of times I have a video on thinning out because it's good to thin out your planted tank once in a while, because if it gets too crowded, then detritus and all sorts of crap starts to just sit on everything. Then you go in there with your hand or your gravel vac and you can see it all float up. So make sure if you're gravel vacuuming your plants with the hose, just go around and move the leaves around and get all that stuff that's in it. Because this tank looks super clear and beautiful, but there's stuff in all these plants. You got to move shit around when you do water changes. Bro, say me, bro, fluval or Amazonia? Go with the fluval. Corona. I love Coronas. How many dwarf cichlids would be good in a 30-gallon? A Keef. 15. Does that sound good? Oh, I cannot do whiskey. I can't do hard liquor. Next morning, I can drink 1,000,000 beers and wake up fresh and happy. If I do one shot, forget about it. I feel like shit the next day. Go Pats. Yes, sir. Yeah, that Blixa is huge. That is some sweet-ass Blixa that's growing right here. I have never seen one, like, grow this big. But I'm sure I could take it out and make, like, 30 tiny little Blixas and just plant them everywhere. But I'm liking the way it looks right now. You're welcome, Akif. All right. Well, what do I need here? Look what I brought over, so I wouldn't have to. I filled up a chrome bowl with icy Bud Lights so that I wouldn't have to go to the fridge. Oh, but it's time for another one. We've been going for just over an hour. We've got 45 people watching. That's good. 44. So, time for another question. What does everybody do for a living besides YouTube and keep fish? Everybody has jobs, I hope. I've got 2, hoping one of them will overtake the other one because I really don't like my day job. I've been there 15 years. I shouldn't say I don't like it. I love the people I work with, but the company is just tearing away at every little thing every second now that we're corporate. My day job is I'm a pharmacy ops manager. And I used to be an IV tech. I used to mix IV meds. I don't do that anymore. I manage the techs that do that. And I love all those guys and girls. Love working with them. Been working with them for a long time, and they're great people. They're good friends of mine. I love the pharmacists I work with. Aaron! I love calling you Aaron. Thanks, Michael. Thank you, Mike. E10. Did I make out on that? Do I make more money when you donate from Europe? I appreciate that, Mike. That's like cutting in on all the steaks we ate at Weber's in Chicago. Retired. All right, Patricia. 636 steam fitter. Sounds interesting. Stop and Shop seafood department. The Stop and Shop I used to go to nixed their seafood department. I used to love that seafood department. Operate a tower crane. I am deathly afraid of heights. That sounds horrible for me. And you're hoping to own a fish store. Go for it. Do it. Certified licensed contractor in the state of New Jersey. Sounds like you make bank. Engineer. My dad is a mechanical engineer, so props to you, Akif. Flow Wagon's a college senior. Go to school. Another engineer. Rob Aquatics apparently loves the color green. Good for you. What's my name? My name's Mike from Mass. Slim Tim, machine operator. I saw him with the big picture on Facebook with the big giant excavator bouncing around. IT manager in aerospace machine shop. That sounds fancy. No, I do not buy the marinated fish from store. I get my fish from a guy who literally drives the back of his truck. He gets it from Cape Cod that day, and he sells it out of the back of his truck. Freshest stuff ever. Best stuff. Marine diesel mechanic. Wow. That's awesome. Reception in the pediatric department of the largest dental college in New York City. Wow. RN at the NICU at Children's Hospital, Minnesota. Jess Triplet. Special love, however you make a heart, to Jess Triplet. RNs are one of the hardest working people. My wife is an RN. She is a labor and delivery nurse at a local hospital in my area. She works so hard. She used to be a float nurse, so she's used to work on med surg and the ER everywhere, but she fell in love with the maternity floor, and so she's been a nurse for over 10 years, but she's been on maternity for I think like 6 years now. Nurses are the shit. Super hard working. Librarian. They still have libraries? You cook barbecue for 20 years. Oh my god. Barbecue is the shit. I used to be a chef myself. A legit chef. Before I had this job, I was a sous chef at a nice fancy restaurant. And I love cooking. I loved cooking. If being a chef wasn't all nights and weekends, was your entire thing, nights and weekends, I'd probably still be cooking. But I got married, had a family, and needed to move on. I actually have a bachelor's degree in geology and environmental science because I wanted to be an environmental police officer, but that was the path that did not get taken. So I became a cook and an IV tech. Teachers, pharmaceuticals. Yes, I'm in pharmaceuticals, Doug. You too. Mailman. Gotta love the mailmans. Flo Wagon's fiance is an RN. Love nurses. Thank you. Electroshock 299. Huey Door Gunner. I'm assuming that's for the military. Yes, IFG. You're hilarious. Do you probably use like a whiteout tube, like a little old school whiteout, like tiny little brush. But the good news is when you do it that way, you have great job security. Yeah. Cop, shout out to the police officers of the world. You guys are super hardworking. And I know a lot of cops get a bad rap. You're just people, they're just doing their job. If your job is to teach kids, you teach kids. If your job is to be IT support and help people fix their computers, then you do that. A police officer's job is to protect and serve and bust you if you're doing something illegal. So lay off. Yes, the nursing is a very rewarding job. She gets, compliments all the time from the people she takes care of, and that's probably what keeps her going. Let's not talk politics. Please, Josh, do not talk politics. I will ignore the politics. I don't want to talk politics. Apparently, Jeffrey Martin got his message deleted. All right. Back to blue all day. Got to back to police officers. Funny story, real quick, before I ask this next question. Have I been to Australia? No. I would love to go to Australia without, I hate traveling. If I can go with my family, I'm good. But if I have to leave any place without my family, I absolutely hate it. But I love Australia. I love watching Discovery Channel, documentaries, all the stuff about Australia I see. It looks gorgeous, and I'd love to go visit. Thank you, Stealth. Which countries have I visited? I've visited North America and South America. That's it. The only two countries I've ever been in. Aruba, Dominican Republic, and the US and Canada. I try not to travel too far. Would you scuba Lake Malawi? If I ever had the balls to go to Africa, I would do that. Yes. I love scuba diving. I'm not certified or anything. I don't do it around here, but every time I go on vacation, me and my wife usually go someplace tropical, and we love to scuba dive. Get a couple rum drinks in the morning. Fill your pockets with bananas from the breakfast buffet. and then when you go scuba diving, you crush up those bananas or plantains, and the fish just all over you. It's awesome. The last 2 times we did go, I didn't have a GoPro. Now I have a GoPro so I can shoot underwater video. It's going to be awesome. Yes, of course you can use different light fixtures on a tank. T5 bulbs, T8 bulbs, shop lights, LEDs, like all sorts. Floodlights, metal halide, like you name it, you can use it. If it's got enough K, like 67K I think, or higher, you're good to go. Sorry folks, my whole, I think I got like sciatica. Every time I sit down it's just like shooting pain. Disposable CO2 kits are a waste of money. You end up buying those little cartridges over and 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 over. Just buy a 5-pound tank and fill it. Like my 5-pound tank at 2 to 3 bubbles per second lasts me like over a year. I only fill it like once a year, if that. And it only costs like $12 to fill. Jess, yes. You love this? This is German Blue Ram steampunked t-shirt from PecTech. If you guys don't know PecTech, go check out his channel. Like I said, I don't know if he's selling these. He did give me one. He's got a bunch of colors, but it's a super, super cool shirt. I want to get an angelfish because that's my favorite fish. Steampunked, if I can get him to do that. Like if he could have a company where you pick the fish and he steampunks it out, that would be badass. 10,000K is pretty bright, but best floating plants to soak up nitrates. Any floating plant. Water sprite, water wisteria. Frogbit is a super cool looking plant. Just like little tiny lily pads and sends roots down. Shizdank, if you're still watching, he's got a whole bunch of badass floating plants. Comment on which floating plant is not only cool looking, but will soak up those nitrates. Any chance of an aquarium tour? Like if I go to an actual aquarium, like the New England Aquarium, or do you want like me to tour my tanks? Maybe right before I sign off, since I switched lighting schedules downstairs. My reef tanks are up and running right now. Maybe real quick before I sign off, I will grab the camera and go around through all my tanks. What was my first fish and tank? I had a 20-gallon high when I was real little, but my first tank, I believe, was a 40 tall. And my dad let me basically put whatever fish. Philanthus flutans. Yes, that's the good one. I think that's the one that's like kind of purplish. Shizdank. My dad let me put whatever I wanted. If I wanted a common pleco, got it. If I wanted this, got it. And he just let me kind of figure it out. And I loved getting live plants. I loved, oddly enough, I loved the smell of those old school fish stores, like back in the 80s, like where you walked in and it was just that gross but awesome smell of fish water. Anytime I have that, I get that whiff of like that aquarium water, which you don't really see too often in fish stores because they're usually pretty clean now. It takes me back to my childhood. But I had this awesome piece of driftwood. It was about the size of a bowling ball, and it was like oval shaped, and it had a big hole on the left side and 2 smaller holes. You know, it was on that nice slate, piece of slate. You buried that in the substrate. That driftwood was so cool. My dad kept that driftwood, even when I left, in his tank for years and years and years and years and years. I think he just threw it away because I went over his house one time and I went down to his 30 long or 40 long or whatever he's got, and the water was like down to here, barely like above the intake on the HOB. It was so loud because the water was pouring over. Every bit of it was covered in black-beard algae. There was 1 yellow dojo loach and 2 cory cats that he probably had forever. I asked him when the last time he did a water change. He was like, I don't know, like 6 months maybe. I was like, dude, you might want to add some water in here. Yes, you can use LEDs. How did I get started in the hobby? What's my story? I was little. My dad, I've been fishing, ice fishing since I was 2 years old. I do that with my kids. I have 4 kids, 9, 7, 4, and 2. And my oldest son, Nate, I took ice fishing as soon as he was out of diapers. He always wanted to come ice fishing with me. And I said, when you can pee like a big boy and not have diapers, then you can go ice fishing. Then my next son, same thing. As soon as you're out of diapers, you want to go ice fishing? You got to pee like a big boy. My daughter, I'll do anything for her. She could have diapers. She could not have diapers. I still brought her on the ice. She's my princess. But yeah, I was little. I always loved to fish and ice fish. And I always loved aquariums. I loved to just go to aquarium stores and walk around. And I had fish tanks all growing up. And then when I went to college, I kind of got out of it for a little. And then I was working nights and weekends and working all the time and didn't have any, an opportunity to take care of tanks. But as soon as I got married and moved into my house, I got a fish tank. And then got another one. And then I was sneaking fish tanks in. And then I was making YouTube videos. And then I was here, I was there, I was meeting people. Met a ton of good people off YouTube, fish channels. I've made lifelong friends off YouTube. I've started a business with my business partners and friends through YouTube and fish keeping. Like, it's been a crazy journey. And it's been awesome. Just making fish videos, talking with the fans, having fun with the fish videos, then meeting people, then becoming friends with them on Facebook, then eventually you can get their cell phone number if you become close enough and trust that person. Then you can text them and call and hang out. And then having Michael from the UK come over and visit was like one of the highlights of the past couple of years. Like, I got to know him through YouTube, and then we chatted, and then we talked every day through WhatsApp, and now it's like, we're best buds. And then to finally meet him, give him a hug, go out to eat with him, have him sleep over the house and fly the drone and everything. Like, I wish he lived in the States, because me and him get along really well, and we'd be best buds over here, and we'd be hanging out all the time, and it'd just be awesome. Oh, thanks, Michael TechLogic, for the super chat. Smallest number of any schooling fish, I would say, is 6. Uh-oh. Low battery. I'm gonna have to plug my battery in soon. Thank you, Michael. Your channel inspired me to do 75 planted. What your CO2 and photo period on the 40 breeder. Thanks for the super chat donation, Mike. I appreciate it. Light schedule is 4:30 blues come on, 5 o'clock white come on, 11:30 whites go off, 12 o'clock blues go off. I run my CO2 at 2 to 3 bubbles per second. So it's like boop, 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 boop. Like every second about 2 bubbles go through. How many canister filters to keep a 55 gallon? 1. A Fluval 406 or like even an FX4, FX6. J. Wilson, IFG, those are big cichlid guys. They can tell you exactly what filtration you need for. Cichlids are messy fish. With my 40 breeder, I had a Aquaclear 70 hang on back and 2 sponge filters. Cichlids are just dirty, dirty fish. The best thing was I had my circulation pumps going perfect so that all their shit would end up in one little corner and I could just vacuum that out. EFC, that's so right. I don't know what that means. I do, Michael, I do appreciate that. So I think the next time I do a live stream, I wasn't really prepared completely. I was like trying to get everything set up. I got my computer, my laptop hooked up, hardwired with cable so that the Wi-Fi didn't mess with the phone. And even the first time I tried to start up the live chat, it screwed up. I got like my phone charger, little battery pack in case the phone runs out, which I've already used 80% in like an hour and 20 minutes, so the phone's probably going to need to be plugged in soon. But still got 40 people watching, which is awesome. I appreciate everybody stopping by for basically my first like live stream. I did one with Mike, and I did one a long time ago that really sucked. But I'm gonna try to do this not like Mike does it, like a scheduled every Friday or Saturday, but at least once or twice a month. And I'll post it on Facebook, Mass Aquarium's Facebook page, Instagram, you know, all that stuff, so people know when's what. Where was I going with that? The battery thing kind of screwed me up. Oh, but I appreciate the donation from Michael for the super chats. Like I said, any revenue I make from my YouTube, Patreon, super chat, it all goes into the aquariums. It all goes into the channel. So for my next live stream, what I might do is I have a bunch of Mass Aquariums t-shirts left over, a nice black t-shirt with my angel and Mass Aquariums logo, just like my channel logo. I have a bunch of sizes, so if you end up donating to the super chat, I'm thinking about, I'll mail you a t-shirt. Hopefully I do have a bunch of 2X, extra large, large, and medium. So if you end up donating through the super chat, you can contact me through email and I'll get you a t-shirt. I'll mail you a t-shirt out. T-shirt, not t-shirt. US only. I'm not going to mail a t-shirt to Singapore or Australia or something. I mean, it'll cost me like $90 to mail something that weighs like a couple ounces. But US only. I hopefully will be giving away t-shirts on the next live stream if you donate to the super chat. So at least you're getting something out of it. Lid or lidless? I go lid all the time. I got a lid on this. Boom. Every one of my tanks has a lid for multiple reasons. One, it helps with evaporation. Two, it helps not have my kids throw crap in my tanks, either on purpose or by accident. Three, it helps fish not jumping out of your tank. I've had jumps. Hope that does this. Oh, there's an eBay. Hope that doesn't show up. I've had fish jump out with the lid on. They find the smallest little crack. So if there's no lid, I can only imagine how many fish are going to jump out. And I'm going to have fish chips all over the place. Will I ever get a dwarf lionfish? So if I do set up my 135 as a reef, I will get a dwarf lionfish for sure. That was one of the fish on my list to get. Dope reviews. Yeah, like I said, if when the battery is about to run out, I haven't decided if I'm just going to end the live stream or plug the phone in. It depends on how many people are still watching, if you guys want me to. Depends on how late it is. Not that it matters. It's Friday night. No more soccer on Saturday, so that's good. What would you say is your favorite fish? My favorite saltwater fish right now that I have is the coral hopping hawkfish. My favorite freshwater fish is angelfish, but I do love like any type of rainbow fish are really pretty. The praycock rainbow fish, it's got like beautiful silvery blue sheen scales with like a light reddish orange dorsal and pectoral and tail fin, and it's just when they school and the light hits them, it's just really, really pretty. But I really love all sorts of fish. But if I'm only allowed to pick one fish, whether I have it or I don't have it, it would be an angelfish freshwater and probably a mandarin saltwater, because they're just like the craziest looking colors on those things, like amazing. How do I ensure that every fish in a large school gets fed? Like, it's survival of the fittest, really. Like, you put the food in. If they don't eat it, well, tough on them. Like, I'm not gonna go make sure every fish is fed. But they'll eat. They'll get fed. What light is on the 40 breeder, and what's your favorite light? This is a Marineland planted. I really like this light. This is one that I've used quite often, and I did run an ST International T5 bulbs, but it got really hot. I'm loving this light. It stays pretty cool. It's got a built-in timer. Yes, Greg, I love ONIP tabs as well. I love putting an ONIP tab in here. You know, I will put an ONIP tab in here, and hopefully the fish come out and start poking on it. But every fish can go eat it. It's a little tiny tab. It looks like a Tums, and you just stick it right there. Now I'm down to 10%. Let me see. I will be right. Let me see if I can plug my phone in. All right, phone's plugged in. Hopefully that works better. Is a skunk cleaner shrimp for saltwater worth it? Yes, I love skunk cleaner shrimps. Super cool. You stick your hands in there when you clean it and they just go all over your hand. You go down at night. If you go down quiet with a flashlight and you look in, there's always a fish next to him and he's all over him cleaning them off. They are super cool. They look cool and they're awesome for saltwater tanks. I would say I would always have a cleaner skunk shrimp in any saltwater tank I have. Yep, spray cocks are awesome. What's my email? If you need to reach out to me on my YouTube channel, it'll show my email, but you can reach me at myaquariumbox@gmail.com. myaquariumbox@gmail.com. Slim, yep. I will, right before I'm about to sign off, I'll go show the 2 tanks downstairs for sure. Yeah, the cord it's like right over here. See? Right here. Just tucked right behind there. Where is the best spot to put a power head for circulation? And do you always need one, and how often should it be running? I always use circulation pumps. It really all depends on the tank. Like usually, so for this tank, my filter outtake is in the back corner, pushing this way, and then my circ pump is on here. You kind of want this going on in your tank. The water's getting sucked in from the intake and forcing water out the opposite side. So you have a circ pump here and water here, and then the water goes like this, and you get nice circulation. You can put 2 in if you want, but you just got to fiddle with it. You put them in, see what happens. Right now, for this tank, I really don't have the circ pump in for flow as I do for surface agitation. I have this one right in the middle, pretty much on the left, pointing up to agitate that surface. My favorite substrate, in my 10 I have crushed coral. In my 40 I have Carib Sea Bahama Oolite, I think it's called. It's really fine, sugary, like the the grain of like sugar. And I like that because when you're gravel vacuuming, you can like go right in the sand, and the sand starts to go up the tube, but if you just crimp it, then it falls back down. I've had good luck. Those are the only 2 saltwater tanks I've ever had, and those are the only 2 substrates I've ever had. So I've always been intrigued by the black substrate for saltwater tanks. I think that looks really cool. Well, that's good. I haven't heard too much about the false green terrors, but you know, you never know. Let's see if this is working. Oh yeah, it's already draining this little battery pack to 65. So hopefully it's charging while we're talking. And if it gets down to 5%, you know, live stream's over. I will grab the phone, go tour my tanks, and then we'll call it a day. But we still got 43 people watching. That's awesome. We got 66 likes, which is also really cool. Thank you everybody for showing up for this live stream. I know it's Friday night. Like, you know, wouldn't like a Thursday night live stream be better? Friday night, like, are just aquarium people like me, or people who have kids home, or old people like me. Because if I was in my 20s and it was Friday night, I would definitely be at a bar or some sort of entertainment with TVs and beer. But I'm old. I'm an old grumpy man, and I like to stay home all the time. I live in the woods, I don't like to leave my house for anything. I like my fire going, and I like to sit down and chill. Is it normal if dwarf gourami nibble plants? I've never kept gourami, so I don't really know if it's normal for them to nibble plants. I'm not a big gourami guy. A lot of people love them. Every time I see them at the fish store, they're kind of, I always skip over them. Your friends are at the bar, you're sick. Me too, I'm sick, but I guess I got my own bar here. When will my next live stream be? I don't really know. I'm not going to schedule anything because, like, if I didn't post this on Facebook that I was having a live stream tonight, I probably wouldn't have, because I was not feeling very well at all this week. But I'm hoping to do 2 live streams a month, and I'll post it on Mass Aquarium's Facebook page, and figure out how to alert people on YouTube. I think I scheduled it, so if you hit that bell, you'll get an alert when I'm having a live stream. Most likely, it'll be on any given night, because my wife works nights, so she doesn't want to sit on the couch and listen to me talk. So when she's working, I'll do a live stream, and her schedule is always changing. Plus, the kids got to be asleep. I'm kind of lucky that my 2-year-old, Lukey, he's kind of sick too, hasn't screamed at all, and I had to cut the live stream to go take care of him. And I'm also lucky my new puppy, Huckleberry Finley, is still asleep after all this. Like, usually he's up my butt, like, come on, let's play, let's play, let's play. But hit the bell, you'll get a notification. Probably most likely will be during the week, or I'm going to try to do a Friday night, because I know Mike does Saturday night live streams. So I'll leave Saturday night to him. I'll keep mine to Friday or sometime during the week. I'm in my 20s, but I work 70, 80 hours a week. So here I am. Damn, Stealth. 80 hours? You must be making bank, son. Thank you, Hustler. Saturday afternoon. That's so weird how it's Saturday afternoon in one part of the world and it's Friday night here. I mean, it's not like trippy weird. It's just cool. Like, it's Saturday afternoon. She could be on the beach right now watching a live stream. Or he. I love Guinness. Yeah, Jeff, I'm going to be 38, 4 kids. When I had 2 kids, it was kind of like, let's get a babysitter, drop them off at the grandparents, let's go out. Like, now if I had the choice to have a babysitter and to go out, or wait for the kids to go to bed and get like Thai takeout or sushi takeout with my wife, and sit in my pajamas and watch TV and eat takeout, maybe partake in a little, we'll leave that for another night. That's what I do. Stay home and watch TV and get takeout. Homebody. But I love it. I think Cory cats are fine with ghost shrimp. I have never had any problems with my Corys. Well, I have actually 6 Corys in here, but I never see them because they're always in the Blixa. For a 40 breeder, canister filter would be a Fluval 406. That's what I run on this tank, and I've never had a problem with it. So that's the canister filter that I would recommend. I know people like to run Marineland or Suns. I've never had a problem with the 406, so Fluval 406. Ariane Vigne, you're welcome. Glad I can help some people out. Kumboda, I know Mo from Maurice Aquariums. I don't think he's done a video in a long time. He does that. He grows tons of Kumboda. Do your coworkers know about the channel? Yeah. Most of my coworkers know I have a YouTube channel. I don't think any of them are really interested in watching them. Most of them are probably out right now or asleep. I told them I was doing live stream tonight, and then at like 2 o'clock, I had a headache. I was achy. I couldn't stop coughing. And I asked my manager if I could just go home, and I came home and tried to take a nap on the chair, but my kids got home from school, and then you know, that starts. If you have kids, you know how that goes. Jeffrey, 37 with 4 kids. I'm 37 with 4 kids. You know exactly what I'm going through. Do your plants pearl towards the end of the photo period on the 40 breeder? My plants pearl randomly. When I do water changes, they pearl like crazy. When I refill the tank, every plant is pearling like crazy. I've never noticed like exactly like what time in the photo period if they pearl, but when I do a water change, yes, always pearl. I don't have a lot of experience with Comboba, so I don't know what type of requirements they have. Jess, I will tune in, and I'm a homebody too. I work so much that when I have free time, I want to go and couch watch. That's my wife. My wife works 7 at night to 7 in the morning. So you can imagine how tired she is with 4 kids and no sleep. So whenever she has free time, she wants to spend it with me on the couch watching TV. And that's exactly what I want to do when I have free time. Greg is probably wishing I was downstairs folding my aquarium box, because that's what I normally would be doing, is I'd be downstairs. Yes, organic soil does work very well. Liquid fertilizer as opposed to Eco-Complete. Back in the day, I used to always do liquid ferts. Now, with like what I've experienced, I would prefer a nutrient-rich soil and root tabs over dumping liquid chemicals in my tank every day. I used to dose iron, potassium, micronutrients. Like, I used to dose all that kind of stuff, and it just became a hassle. And like, it did work, but like every day, you know, I dose potassium on this day, then iron on this day, then flourish after a water change, then excel over here. Like, just, it's too much. A good nutrient-rich substrate, as well as if you want to do root tabs in like inert substrate, gravel, sand, I much prefer over any liquid fertilizer. But that's just me. I'm not an expert. I'm not a scientist. I just do what works for me, and everybody's tanks are different. Tetra Safe Start Plus. I've never used that. I've literally only ever used API stress coat to dechlorinate my water. I've never used Prime. I've never used, oh my God. I've never used Prime. I've never used Safe. I've never used Tetra Safe Start, whatever. I've only ever used API stress coat. I've found that you can add it, like, you can't really overdose on it, which is good. My diffuser's not creating micro bubbles the whole area. Is there a way to clean it for the whole surface area, creating CO2 micro bubbles? I just rinse mine off with hot water. If it's complete, it might be a dud. You know, just go buy a new one if you're cleaning it and nothing's happening. 40 people still tuning in, and we've been going for almost 2 hours. That's awesome. Maybe my next live stream, I'll bring it downstairs and I'll do it in front of my reef tank. Prime is awesome, but not a substitute for a water change. Yeah. So Prime is a dechlorinator as well, I'm assuming. I mean, I know what it is, but the stress coat, I just add water and stress coat all at the same time. I don't like add the stress coat to the water and let it sit. I know a lot of people do that. My 9-year-old is sleeping over a friend's house. My 4-year-old daughter is asleep. My 2-year-old son is asleep. I told my 7-year-old son he can watch TV in my bed for a little while, but he has not fallen asleep yet. Usually he'd pass out in like a half hour. I just heard him get up and go to the bathroom, and the TV's still on. I can hear it upstairs, but mom's not home. We'll let him do whatever he wants. I mean, he can be tired tomorrow. Soccer's over. He's got nothing to do tomorrow. He'll still probably be up at 5:30, like waffles, Shotgun a beer. Ugh. No, no, thank you. If I wasn't sick, I might take you up on that, but no. This is going down like glass right now, and I love drinking beers. So, yeah, I cannot shotgun a beer right now. Next live stream, maybe I'll shotgun a beer. Is it me, or does everybody want to see that couch? Look, my couch that I sit on right over there? I'll show you. Maybe I'll show you. I use all-in-one fertilizer called Thrive from... So Nylock G Aquatics, I've inquired about Thrive for the My Aquarium Box, and I've heard great things about it. Hopefully we can get an account set up with them and get you guys who subscribe to My Aquarium Box some Thrive, because I'm seeing a lot of it on Facebook that people use Thrive. BM Aquatics, who's a YouTuber who used to... he's from New Hampshire. He used to do all sorts of YouTube videos. Now he does Aquascaping the World Facebook group. I think he uses Thrive, and he's got tons of tanks going right now. He likes the nano tanks. Anybody here have thoughts on Aqua Dream lights? Never heard of those. Are sea monkeys the same as drain babies? I do not know what that means. Oh, drain babies. Yeah, that's funny. I know what you mean. Thanks, Jess. What do you think about Nutrafin Cycle for the aquarium water? I've also never used Nutrafin Cycle. Is it harder with salt water? When are you going to do a monster tank like Joey, Dustin, and Corey? Is it harder with salt water? Not really. Like, if you think about tanks in general, can be difficult as you want to make them be. Salt water is just, when you do a water change, you're adding salt water instead of fresh water. Like, that's all I have to say about it. Fresh water is fresh water. Salt water is just salt in the water. If you're keeping easy corals, then it's going to be easy. If you're keeping difficult corals, then you're going to have to either do more frequent water changes or be dosing your tank with calcium and magnesium and alkalinity. Like, excuse me, you can make any tank easy or difficult, but as far as saltwater and freshwater, it's equally the same in my book. It's all up to the fish keeper on how difficult you want to make it. I guess that's what I got to say about that. Okay, when am I going to do a monster tank like Joey, Dustin, and Corey? I have a 135-gallon tank with a 52-gallon sump that after Thanksgiving I'll be moving down. I don't know. I'm not into doing things like them. Like I'm not here to compete with those guys. We're all YouTubers. We're all fish keepers. Dustin and Joey are, like, you know, the godfathers of YouTube. As far as, I mean, I used to watch them all the time before I had a YouTube channel. Corey, he's new and he's flying with subscribers. I don't watch a lot of Corey's content. I do watch the King of DIY because I like to see how his fish room's coming along. I watch Dustin once in a while. I talk with Joey and Dustin via the text message once in a while, but like, I'm gonna do a tank that I can take care of, that I have time to take care of. I don't ever do tanks because someone else is doing a tank, so now I need to get a big tank up. If I can take care of a tank and I have the time to give the tank what it needs, then I'm gonna do a tank. But there's no need for me to do a giant tank to compete with anybody else's giant tanks, if you know what I mean. I have a giant tank in my garage, and I'll set that up right after Thanksgiving. Greg's going to help me move it to the basement, and we're going to go for it. It's going to be cool. It's my first time with a sump as filtration, so that'll be a cool video series as well as a learning experience for me. Although I've had tanks for 30 years, I've never had a sump. I've always had hang-on back filters or canister filters or sponge filters. So I think it'll be cool to have a sump. Oh, selling lots of stuff on eBay. I wonder if that's coming up on the feed. I gotta visit Boston this winter. I've been to New England once, hiked White Mountains in February, too cold hot. Yeah, Josh, New England in the winter, Super cold. Unless you're coming for a Patriots game or to go ice fishing, come in the summer. Much warmer, beautiful. Then you can go hike the White Mountains, do the Appalachian Trail, all that stuff. Come to New England in the summer, unless you want to ice fish. Because come end of December into January and February, it is like below zero at night. Everything is frozen. Everything is dark all the time. You wake up, it's dark. You go to work, it's dark. You leave work, it's dark. Not a lot of sun going on. But after the December 21st into, you know, once you get into the late January, you know, into February, you do start to get more light. But very dark right now. Dark and cold. What's my opinion on biological boosters like stability? Do they work for... yeah, I have used the fluval cycle for my 10-gallon saltwater, and I really didn't see a whole lot benefit from it. I do use Dr. Tim's one and only nitrifying bacteria, and that worked great with my 40-gallon reef. It worked awesome with this tank. I mean, I just literally filled it up, aquascaped, and fish Dr. Tim's one and only same time. It was awesome. All right, so we still got 50 people watching. Going on an hour and 40 minutes. My back is starting to get sore sitting in this crazy desk chair. I'm going to ask this question. What is everybody's favorite coral if you have a reef tank? And what is everybody's favorite plant if you have a freshwater tank? I've already said my favorite coral is green star polyps because super easy to care for. It's a beginner coral, so I'm not really looking for something crazy. I just love the way it looks and flows in a saltwater tank. It's just that beautiful green color. It flows awesome. It looks awesome. I love it. My favorite plant for freshwater is the Crinum calamostratum. It's a long grass-like plant, but it's twisted like a Twizzler. And it just goes all over it just goes wherever the flow's going. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous. I had a beautiful Crinum in my 75-gallon tank at the old house, and it was I hated having to get rid of that plant because it was just, it'd been there for so long. It was so beautiful. Just a really, really awesome plant. Crinum cal, there you go, Chris. Water spray. Crinum, wow, a lot of people love Crinum too. Anubias nana, Java fern, frog spawn, branching coral. Yep, that's a good one. I like my branching hammer. That's awesome. Ludwigia ripens, I had that in the other one. Like if you can get the high tech going in your tank, Ludwigia, like that nice red color is gorgeous. Frog spawn and dwarf lily. Yeah, I love the dwarf lily too. Italian val, yeah. Dope reviews is just like naming all the awesome plants I had in my 75, I think. No, just kidding. I love the Italian val way better than the American jungle val. Wendiddy crypts are nice. Slim. Anubias, Shizdank, yeah. Anubias, there's so many varieties of Anubias, and they're all just awesome. I've got the Nana, Anubias Nana in this tank. The root system is just beautiful. It's flowering. Look at all those cardinals popping up. Just Anubias is just a great beginner plant. It's a great expert plant. There's so many varieties, and it's just gorgeous. Hygro, yeah, that's a good one. Tiger lotus is really cool too. Yeah, the long grassy looks. So I went with Cypress Hellfiery for this tank and a variation of a Crip because Jungle Val, Italian Val, even though I love it, it is too much. Like it just grows like crazy. It just runner after runner after runner after runner after runner. Like you can't pull it fast enough. And then pretty soon your whole tank is covered in it. And with a tank this small, the Italian Val, don't get me wrong, is awesome for bigger tanks because it can get out of control and you can just pull it and sell it, give it to people, whatever. with a tank this size, like it'll take, if you don't pay attention, it'll take over the whole tank super quick. Yeah, GSP is impossible to kill. Fake plants. Okay, this is an interesting topic. I was actually, all right, I'm not going to say that because it could be a surprise. I have seen beautiful tanks on YouTube that are completely fake, and you would never know it because they bought the right plants from the right retailer, and they've placed them in their tank like you would real plants. Carpet plant, background plant, foreground plant, reds, greens, and the tank looked amazing and very easy maintenance. You can pull them out and clean them. You can wipe them off with paper towels. Fish will still eat the algae off of them, and it's no maintenance. You don't have to worry about them dying or melting or turning brown or getting holes or rotting away, or one minute they look great, then the next minute they're dying and you don't know why. So, like, I've always been a big promoter of do whatever you think looks good in your tank. Like, don't think that you need to have live plants, because you don't. You can have fake plants and have a beautiful tank. Like, I don't really like a tank that's got like a pink and a yellow plant for me, but if you like the way that looks, then do that, because the hobby is just, it's for yourself. You need to set up a tank that you think's beautiful, that when you walk by it every day, you're like, oh wow, I love the way that looks. That's my tank. Don't think you need to set up a tank to mimic somebody else's tank, because that's what you're supposed to do. Just do whatever you think looks beautiful. If you want fake plants, do fake plants. If you want real plants, easy plants, low light, high light, like, do whatever you love. I love frogbit, but I can never get it to stay growing in my tank, and so I just gave up on frogbit. But I'd love to have fake frogbit because it looks awesome, and then I wouldn't have to worry about it dying. So if you're a fake plant manufacturer, make me fake frogbit. I want plastic lily pad shaped tops and like thread or something for the roots. Fake frogbit. I'll put that in all my freshwater tanks. Dwarf Sag is a good one. Oh, this Mikey, this started like 2 hours ago. Can you trim crinum? I only trim the crinum at the very bottom. Like if it's really like an old I don't want to necessarily, like a broadleaf, maybe it is. No, I don't even know what you call that. If it's like a real old one that's been on the like whole thing for a long time and it's starting to brown up, I'll cut it right from the very bottom. But if you trim the tops, I don't think it's going to continue to grow. Planticus artificialis. Yes, I do love that plant as well. Yeah, silk plants do look really nice. Yeah, see, Jess? I bet, like, it probably looks awesome. Where do you find fake frogbit? I have no clue. I don't even know if they make it. I just was wondering if there's a manufacturer out there, make me fake frogbit, because I would put that in this tank. And then you'd have all these real plants, and you'd have fake frogbit moving around that would never die, and it would look so cool. Neil, I honestly don't know. RO water with equilibrium. Should I use an alkaline buffer? Worry the pH will drop. So I don't like to use any buffers. I don't like to chase pH. If you just keep an eye on your fish and acclimate them to the CO2, you start off with like really low bubble per second, maybe 1. See what your fish's reaction is. Make sure you're using a solenoid and keep your CO2 on a timer so that it's going on and off when it should, and it's not like running 24/7, although you can run it 24/7. I prefer to have it on a timer using a solenoid, but I don't worry about, like, do I have to use a buffer to get the pH up, then pH down? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? Like, just keep an eye on your fish. Don't chase the pH. I have a video on that because it's crazy. And I'm not saying like if you want to keep a certain fish and your tap water is like 9 or like 5, you might have to do something to get the pH where it needs to be for that specific fish. But other than that, I'm not a fan of using any type of buffer if it's absolutely not necessary. This dude looks sad. I sorry if I look sad. I am sicker than I look, believe it or not. My head is completely filled up. My head is pounding. It feels like I have like a bungee cord just stripping me. I'm achy. My friggin' back hurts. But I'm happy to be on this live stream, and I'm thrilled that 47 people are still watching after 2 hours. Sorry, Sam. Hi. GLA Pro, that's what I have. I run a GLA CO2 system. It's been running for, geez, on my 75, then on this tank. I've never had a problem with any of the gauges, the regulators, the solenoid, nothing. It has worked perfect the entire time. Yeah. My smile motivates you, Sam? Okay. I can tell I hear her smile the whole time. All right, someone click Sam off. Foul language. I don't know if that's like a computer troll or just like some random dude that really has nothing to do. In my opinion, the best biological tank cycle booster is Dr. Tim's one and only nitrifying bacteria. If you go to any one of my freshwater videos or saltwater videos, in the description, I have links to all the equipment I use and whatever I use. I have a link right to Dr. Tim's one and only. You click on that, boom, it'll take you right to where you need to go. Yeah, I love the GLA setup. The tank behind me is a 40 breeder. So, what time is it? 10:49. So let's call it 11 o'clock. I will pick up the camera and hopefully it stays connected because we're going down to the basement. And we'll do the tanks real quick and then we'll sign it off. 2-hour live stream is pretty good, especially for my first time. I'm very grateful for everybody watching this whole time. Shizdank's been here the whole time. 2 hours, my brother. Thank you, Jess. Thanks. I hope I feel better too because next week's Thanksgiving and I love to eat, drink, and watch football. And since we moved into our new house, we hosted Thanksgiving. We had 40 people last year for Thanksgiving. I think there's 50 coming. We do fried turkey, a traditional oven roasted turkey, and then I smoke a turkey in the smoker. All 3 turkeys came out amazing, and you know everything else that it's pretty much potluck style for everything else. We get the green bean casserole and the rolls and the this and the that. Like all that will be coming. I love smoking a turkey. It takes like 8 or 10 hours. We get a huge turkey. I think it's a 21 pounder. It's gonna take like 12 plus hours. I get to start it at the middle of the night. Get the whole place smelling like hickory. It's gonna be awesome. Tank raised mandarin at algae bomb that are eating frozen. That's awesome. Yeah, if your jungle valve melts, don't panic. Just leave it. Don't pull it. Just leave it. It will come back. Thanks, Huss. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Patricia. Yeah, I'm actually getting hungry myself. Me too. Go Pats, Greg. Thank you, Susie Q. Oh yeah, Shizdank. 36 turkeys you're responsible for. Good luck with that. But if you're a professional barbecuer like you are, I'm sure that it's a piece of cake for you. Have I heard anything about those SB freshwater reef lights, aka shitbox? I use a Mars Aqua on my reef tank, and I have had no problems with it whatsoever for over 2 years now. I think my 40's been running, and I haven't had one problem. I think it was like $79 on eBay, and I love it. And Mike from the UK was just over, and he tweaked my blues a little bit, and my bird's nest bounced back. The corals are looking awesome, so it was nice to have him over to do the lights for me, and everything's looking sweet. Thanks, David. Thank you, Justin. I'm glad I can inspire some people. I know my videos don't inspire everybody, but if there's even one person out there that watches my videos and is inspired to start a tank, mess around with their existing tank, if they can get a bit of info from me, I'm very, very pleased. I know I can't help everybody, or I can't make everybody happy when they watch my videos, but the ones that are happy, that I do inspire, I'm very grateful and I'm humbled by it. Fired Up Friday, Slim. What's the fish on your top? The fish in this tank are rummy nose tetra and cardinal tetras. Wisconsin, what's up? Sorry, Lance, if you're a football fan, that Aaron Rodgers is out for the year. But I did see on NFL Network that he was practicing taking snaps. So if your team can make it to the playoffs, you might get him back. Thanks, Tom. Awesome, Josh. Yep. Got the PecTech shirt. Love this shirt. He went hog on the material. Super comfy. And I love the German Blue Ram, steampunked. If this was tie-dye, it'd be awesome. I might tie-dye this myself. Kansas City fan, Lance. Well, they had our number early, but if we see them in the playoffs, sorry. Yeah. Jets fan. Brady's the GOAT, but I mean, he likes to bitch at the refs. He earned that right. If you're a rookie and you get a late hit from a linebacker, too bad. If you're Brady, you earn the right to bitch at the ref. That guy can't hit me. Oh, we call t-shirts tops. Yes, this is a German Blue Ram male that's been steampunked. Any tips on starting a carpet and which plants are hardy? Never been really successful with carpets. Monte Carlo, I hear, is a really easy one to do. You can do a dwarf sage or a SP Rippins are also pretty easy to do. But from what I've seen on YouTube and like the trend now, maybe it's been a trend forever, I don't know, is Monte Carlo is really easy, like carpet plant. Like it'll just take over pretty good. Dwarf baby tears, I heard, are a little difficult. I've never had any luck with them, but I haven't tried Monte Carlo in any of my tanks. I don't watch rugby. Thank you, Neil. I try not to BS. I try to get to the point, share the information I do know. I'm not an expert. I just try to share what's worked for me, and I hope that can help everybody out. What kind of peas should you feed mystery stale? Is there more than one type of pea? Green peas would probably work. Off topic, beginner NFL fan, who should I support and why? I would just find a team that you like to watch. I can tell you to support the Patriots. People might think you're jumping on the bandwagon, well, because they're the best ever. But I am born and raised in Massachusetts, and I've been a Pats fan ever since I could watch TV. Even when they sucked in the 80s, I had no choice. My dad has been a season ticket holder since 1978. He's 63, and he's been going to every home Patriots game since 1978. That's like friggin' almost 40 years he's been going to the Patriots. I'm a season ticket holder. I've been a season ticket holder since 2000, right before they started their dynasty. As of late, the past couple of years, I sell my tickets to my cousin, and then I go to like 1 or 2 games. Oh, I got 12% left on my laptop as well. All right, so what we're going to do here is 39 years. Yes, thank you, Rico, for that quick math. I appreciate it. Frozen or canned peas? Go with frozen. Canned are just like mushy and gross. Fresh peas or frozen peas, I would say, is best. If in case anybody is not subscribed to Rico's Reef Tank, go subscribe to him. Not only does he have a nice reef tank, but he's good at math too. Well, I suppose that is a lot of different types of peas. Yes, now we're starting with the questions. So, my laptop is down to 10%. Who knows what my phone is down to? I'd like to thank everybody for watching this live stream, and I'd like to thank the moderators, Greg, Rico, Michael. IFG is a moderator. I'd like to thank everybody for coming in and chilling with me on this Friday night for a couple hours. I will be doing more live streams now that I have it figured out. It seems to be pretty easy. And so I will now pick, you know what we'll do is I will hook up the microphone top here where it's supposed to go. Greg's peacing out, and we'll do a quick tour of this tank and then the 2 reefs downstairs. Hopefully the lights are still on. They should still be on. My ears. All right. Peace, Slim. All right, let's go do these tanks. And then I'll be peacing out myself. Let's see if I can switch the camera. All right. Ooh, that light is bright. So this is the 40, and this angle looks weird, but look at that. Beautiful schools of rummy nose and cardinal tetras. This tank's looking really awesome. See if I can get that pleco. Just his little tail is out. Gorgeous pleco though. Really cool pleco. Got the snails back there chomping on everything. Here's my couch, in case anybody was wanting to look at the couch. This is where I sit. And this is what I do. I sit here and I watch NFL Network. And the fire's not going now because my wife's not home. And I was doing a live stream. But as soon as I'm done, the fire will start. And we run the fire all night. All day, all night. Save on oil. Let's go down to MAB headquarters here. I got a lot of boxes to make for this month. We got to fill these 2 pallets. Here's the reef tank. It just is looking so awesome right now. I've got no cyano. The corals are popping. They look great. Like, look at these cans. They're just fat and plump. Clowns are looking beautiful. GSP is literally almost cover this entire rock. And you got the Kenya trees, you know, they just pop up. They literally pop off and they just attach themselves anywhere. All the hammers are just looking bomb. Got this Pavona. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's crawling all over the rock, but it's about to be taken over by this GSP. Torch, hammers. These cans are just looking friggin' awesome. Gonopora, crazy mushroom. This war coral, huge. You see, finally, this rose bubble tip can actually see. So I got this one rose bubble tip from J Dubs, and it split instantly. Then it split. Then it split. Problem is, it's split on the back of the side of the tank. So it's a gorgeous, but it's on the wrong side. But at least it's cool that you can see it now. So this is my 40-gallon reef. Hang on back filter, no skimmer, no sump. Water changes every 10 days. I do about 5 gallons, sometimes 7 gallons. You know, like a bucket and a half sometimes. MAB headquarters is my basement. Walkout basement. Workbench. Here's the 10. Like I said, cyano, not cyano, drawing a blank now here. Coraline up the Ying, and it's, you know, I keep it off the front of the glass and I just let it grow everywhere else. Got the shrimp, mushroom, these mushrooms. This fungi that was plump and gorgeous is just stripping away after so long, and I have no clue why. Like, nothing's changed in this tank. I do water changes the same as I've always done, and for some reason it's just dying. Michael told me to take it off the rock, which it was right here, and place it flat and see if it'll come back, but it's not, and it sucks. But this coral I got from Exquisite Corals was the first coral I ever put in this tank 3 years ago, and it's still here, looking beautiful. I don't do a whole lot to this tank at all, and I kind of neglect it, really, but I'm just going to start filling it up with soft corals and, you know, easy corals, mushrooms, zoas, pallies, maybe a leather coral, anything soft that just needs light, because I only do a water change like I said, every month. And that's not the reason why this thing is dying, because I've had it forever and it's never died. It's never stripped back. I don't know what's going on. So that is it, folks. I am going to call it a night. I appreciate everybody hanging around. Let's go see what Huckleberry's up to. He's probably sleeping in his bed. Oh yeah, Huckleberry's out like a trout. He grabbed Noah's bib, Lukey's bib. Hey, Bubba. No, you're not gonna get up? All right, folks. I will do a typical, this is Mike from Mass, and I'm out. Peace.